Oops. Welcome to the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast, episode number 189. You can find us at www.liftheavyrunlong.com, on Twitter and Instagram at liftrunlong. Also, feel free to email me directly at the address wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, you should be, because we want you to be there. Search for Lift Heavy Run Long Community and request to join right now. My name is Wilson Horrell. I am one of your hosts. I would like to remind you that the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast is not censored, so listen at your own risk. Lift Heavy Run Long has an app, and we want you to be on it. Go to www.liftheavyrunlong.com, click the Sign Up Now button. You're welcome to use the app free of charge, and with the free program, you will get delivered to your calendar 3 bodyweight exercises, 4 barbell strength exercises, and 4 daily WODs. For $19.99 per month, you can have access to all the programs that Lift Heavy Run Long has to offer, everything from 5K programs to 100-mile programs to Spartan races to triathlons. I have sitting next to my right the most wonderful woman in the world, who also happens to be my wife, Dr. Amanda Kimsey Horrell, jacked and tan.
What's up?
How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful. What's new with you?
Not much. Just came back from the gym. Just changed out of my sweaty clothes.
Because you're a CrossFitter now.
I am. For 3 weeks, I've been back.
And a runner?
And running.
Man.
Do you guys not talk to each other before the podcast starts? You're like catching up on your day.
We got to let people know, man. We work on this stuff. You, of all people, would hit me like that. That guy that's speaking, y'all probably already know who he is, but that's our friend Nugget Johnson.
Yeah.
Nugget is back in town. I'm not even going to tell you where he's back in town from yet. And am I even allowed to tell where you've been?
Can.
Okay,
yeah.
We'll go there. The Reverend Von Rawls.
Here I am.
Looking good?
Oh, well, thank you.
On your streak of looking better than the week before.
You want me to tell you a funny story?
I do.
We'll decide
The
if it's
reason I'm
funny or
wearing
not.
this shirt, so my son started playing golf, and we joined a golf club. And he goes, today I was sitting at the computer. It was like 5:15, and he goes, Dad, can we go play 9 holes of golf? I was like, sure, let's go. So so I packed up in the car, and we drove. It's right down the street from the house, and I literally left the neighborhood, made a right, and I go, I can't go play golf. I have a podcast. I can't. And he's like, Dad, what's wrong with you? I was like, I don't know. But
So you just beelined it back home. Was like, see ya, kid.
I just came back home and
Psych.
Well, you look.
He's at home crying.
Your outfit and your tan look like you've been on the golf course all weekend. So.
oh well, I have at the pool too. So
Man.
What would you have worn?
what would I have worn?
Yeah.
If I hadn't have,
Yeah.
probably that shirt
Really?
that you have on.
Yeah.
We would have had all kinds of LHRL up in here, because we have Melissa Burgess and her daughter Charlotte joining us in the audience, which is wonderful. And then we have Big Thirsty in the house, Brian Swanson.
How we doing?
Good. How are you?
I am Ducky.
Ducky.
I am about 90% healed from poison oak.
That's good.
Good.
I forgot that. Selfish me didn't even ask.
That's okay. No. One of our other LHRL ambassadors texted me this weekend to make sure that I was alive and well and hadn't shriveled up and died. So
does that
good.
kind of include me as that? Like, as
Yeah,
long as
I mean,
one
that's-
person in LHRL?
yeah, that's.
Well,
I mean,
if it wasn't
this
for
is the
you, then that person would
This
have
is
never
the community that you've helped create.
Wouldn't-
So
Okay. I'll take
Exactly.
credit anyway.
Exactly.
that I can get it. There's two things that I want to go over that I have done a terrible job since we started back, and that was apparently some races are still going on.
Apparently.
And two of those races are the Big Hill Pond Walking Tall 25K and 50K, which is October 17th, 2020. And you can go to walkingtall50k.com to sign up for that. And also the Fortitude Trail Race put on by Peter Mellon is on September 19th, and it benefits St. Jude. So go to fortitudetrailrace.com and sign up for that now.
Directly or indirectly because of COVID, there's a snowball's chance in hell I might be at Walking Tall. But I'm probably going to be working the world's greatest aid station, not running.
Yeah, if you go there, you're going to have to come be at the aid station. So I'm sorry.
But I'm just excited to be a part of it.
You should be.
So
what broke down? You had to do something. You were doing something else.
Yeah, I was going to be traveling.
Okay, but no longer.
It seems
obviously
very unlikely.
It would make sense that you would not be traveling and be at Walking Tall at the same time.
Yeah.
But stranger things have happened.
You should travel. It's so cheap right now. And people leave you alone. I've never had, I always get next to the person on the flight that wants to talk. But now I start coughing.
Nobody
they leave
wants
me.
to talk.
They leave me alone.
It only takes like one sneeze or a cough, and no one's going to speak to you.
And now they're like hunched over to the other side of the aisle seat.
When this thing first broke out, like when it was first a thing, I was in Burger King and I swallowed my drink wrong and it went down the wrong pipe and I started coughing, and I have really bad anxiety anyway, which made me anxious, which made me cough more, and I just went into a fit. And I'm sitting there like,
oh yeah,
and people are just looking at me like, get
trying
this
to stifle it
out of here. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. But we have Nugget Johnson with us, who is, speaking of traveling, in town been living in Dubai.
Yeah, it's been a year, and I just came back about a week ago. I saw my family in Detroit, and then and now I'm in Memphis just to kind of do podcasts like this and get my own podcast started back up, because when I was in Dubai, I was just so busy with work and everything, I couldn't really keep it going. So now that I'm back, I'm going to start it again and push really hard to get it going so that so I can pay my bills.
Well, that's important.
Yeah.
Do you think while you were in Dubai, you gained any traction with followers that will?
No, because
carry over?
So many people don't speak English as a first language. So when you're on the radio there, they might listen and they might enjoy listening to you, but they don't engage the same way, either because they don't fully understand or they just don't feel that comfortable with their English to call up and talk to you and form more of a relationship. And then and a lot of people just don't have Instagram. It's mainly expats that have Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. So the language barrier, even though it's so populated, I mean, we reached maybe 500,000 people a day, and just no following from that.
And you're still playing English songs, right?
Yeah, I mean, and the official language of Dubai is English.
Interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
So what else do they speak?
I didn't realize that.
Dubaianese?
Yeah, Dubaianese. Yep. Yeah. They speak Arabic, obviously.
Look at Vaughn.
Vaughn's
It seems rational.
It's
I don't know. I'm just basing that on what I know.
That's so uncool to say.
You know,
so
I don't even
funny
know.
at the same time.
I don't even know. Is Chinese? I don't even think is a language. I think they speak Mandarin in China,
Right.
and then a bunch of other dialects, obviously. But like Chinese, it's so funny because the first thing you want to say when you're guessing a fake language from a country that you don't know anything about is you want to add the e's onto the end of it.
Clearly,
when they don't even do it.
I don't know anything about countries. I don't even know where Dubai, if Dubai is a city or a country or a state.
I didn't know anything. Before I went over there, I had no idea about any. We're all just really dumb, to be honest with you, Americans. We have no idea where anything is outside of this country.
You think more so in America than anywhere else we're ignorant?
Well, it's just, the thing is, other countries are right next to, we're huge. So all these states that we have are like their own country as far as size and population.
Really?
We know a bunch of states. Their countries are small and they're all right next to each other, so they know them because a lot of people travel to all those countries. I try to explain to people out there, they get really annoyed with Americans because we don't leave America very often.
Right.
But I try to tell them, I'm like, it's not because we love America so much and we just don't want to go to France. We'd love to go to France, but it turns out most of us get about 2 weeks vacation. And if you don't work in the same state that your parents live in, 1 week is to go see your family. And then the other week is to probably go to Florida and drink with trashy people. So
Did you point at me when you said that? You went,
That was just
I feel like you're internalizing that. That didn't.
No, that happened. You pointed directly at Ron. Your thumb would have landed
take it.
directly on his
It's fine.
forehead.
Well, he did
I'm
wear
okay
his
with that.
nicest golf polo to the podcast today, so I don't want to. I mean, he's looking really good.
his Ole Miss colored golf polo.
Well, it's also highly expensive to travel.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
It's so expensive.
I mean, so
And it
how do
takes
people
up-
over there think that? Can they travel over here once a year?
Well, so yeah, and they do more often than we go over there. But traveling, I learned a lot about traveling being over there. I didn't get to do a lot of it because I had all my traveling schedules for April, and that was right when things kind of shut down. So I
Sucks.
couldn't do my traveling, but I did plan it all out. And the flight is the most expensive part, depending on where you want to go. We can go to Thailand and live in a mansion for $300 for the entire month. Just look up Airbnbs in
No way.
Thailand or Bali.
Really?
Yeah. You could live like a king. That was kind of my backup plan. I was going to take all the money I saved and just live in a mansion, in an Airbnb mansion for 2 or 3 months and have it cost almost nothing because it is so cheap to live there. Bali, there's a bunch of places that are just really inexpensive. And so
have to
the
look at
flight
that.
is the expensive part, and then once you get there, you're good. But you need time. If you take 1 week vacation, 2 of your days at least are eaten up by travel, and then there's jet lag, which is miserable going over there. It took me 2 weeks just to take a nap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how was your accommodations in Dubai? Is everything over there plush?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the
everything's-
place where all the buildings look like ice cream
Yeah. Yeah.
penis head, right?
Yeah, where they all speak Dubaiese. So it's
I mean, is everything there like?
it's all really nice. There's some parts that are a little bit more low rent, and there are families that move out there, and they'll live in hostels and things like that. But if you are moving over there from the UK or from America or one of these countries, then you're probably doing all right, and you're moving over there to make a decent amount of money. Like, they pay Americans so well. I was able to save a lot of money. So I lived in the 44th floor of a building in the marina.
Whoa.
It had a really nice view. I had a couple roommates, and it was awesome. I did that toward the end when I was getting ready to leave because I was like, I want at least a little bit. I only did it for a little while, but I wanted the experience. And then I lived in a hotel because there were no tourists visiting during this pandemic, so the hotel was cheaper than rent.
Oh, wow.
No
Cool.
kidding.
Yeah, and then I lived in a studio for most of the time that I was there, and that was cool. They had a really nice pool and all the facilities you could imagine. No dryers, though. You dry your clothes by setting them on a rack and putting them outside for an hour.
Oh,
and they
man.
come back in dry.
Is it
Yeah.
hot there?
Dry heat.
It's
yeah.
it's so
It's
hot.
desert.
Yeah, it's the Middle East.
Dry heat or heat like here? Is it different?
It gets humid sometimes, but most of the time it is dry. They do this thing called cloud seeding where they can make it rain artificially.
Nice.
I've heard that term, but I didn't know
I
what
didn't
it
know
meant.
that.
Yeah. So during the pandemic, when they wanted everybody to stay in, my conspiracy theory is they were just like, well, time to make it rain this weekend, because they hadn't put all the laws in place yet. They were kind of scrambling to figure out what to do specifically. So they were like, great, we're going to get things started by making it rain. And there's no real sewage systems out there. Like, we have drains on every street. The rain just stays, and the city shuts down. You can't go
kidding.
do anything.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Larry,
So-
make it rain.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
man.
tell me,
That's crazy.
I think I've read some stuff about those areas, and I think Dubai and a couple of those other countries are some of those countries that they're going to run out of oil sooner than later, and so they're trying to create tourism and other things basically to keep their economy going after their oil runs out.
Yeah, I mean, Dubai's been doing that for a long time, and I don't know if it seems to me like, at least for Dubai, they're making way more. I think their big money makers are labor, because they have a bunch of laborers that work out there for very, very cheap. And so they're able to put up buildings so fast and so
Interesting.
inexpensively. So they have that, and then tourism too. And but then there's Abu Dhabi, which is in the same country, the UAE, United Arab Emirates. There's Abu Dhabi, who I don't actually know how they make money. They're just filthy rich over there. I think it's just royalty, and they just have loads of money. It's probably, like you said, there's probably some oil in there somewhere, but they also have a huge airline, and they have all these hotels, and there's lots of industries out there.
Is the other side of the coin? Is there a lot of poverty as well?
Yeah, because there are those families that are living in shared rooms with 4 or 5 different people. So yeah, there's definitely that. I don't know how impoverished. There are some people making very little money in what we would consider not a lot of money, but that are still making enough to feed their families and send money home to their families.
Wow.
And they're making, I don't want to exaggerate too hard, but they're making like maybe $1,000 a month and able to live and send money back home on that.
Really?
Yeah, which is insane.
I feel like I should probably mention this just because of the name of the podcast, but is fitness something that people are into over there?
Yeah. It's not the gyms over there. I didn't like the gyms over there. There's no, like, we've got Lifetime, which is just amazing. But all the gyms over there, the really expensive ones, are like ATC level. So you're paying Lifetime prices for ATC, which is, there's nothing wrong with ATC, but it's got that price point for a reason.
Right.
And out there, it just kind of, there aren't any ridiculous, amazing gyms with like huge saunas in the pool and the outdoor pool. There's none of that I've seen.
Wow.
Are there CrossFit gyms?
Yeah, that's what they love out there. There's a ton of gyms that are class-based. So it's hard to find somewhere that just has free weights, which is actually really frustrating.
Isn't some of the big sanctionals in
I thought they had a big
UAE?
They have
competition out there last year.
I was going to say.
Yep.
I think it just happened again recently.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they
Just
did.
in the last couple of months, they had another one out there. I think. Don't
I want to
quote
say McGee and his wife went out there.
They did.
Yeah.
me. Yeah. So,
You got a friend named McG?
Yeah.
McGoldrick.
McGoldrick.
Yeah.
Nice. It's so weird whenever you talk because you're off the camera, and so I always feel like it's like God
Well,
talking to us.
So
what's the name of the podcast? I'm like, jeez.
it's funny how often when we have guests on that I start talking and they look at Vaughn.
Oh yeah.
People forget that I'm over here.
They're like, how is he doing that?
I'm a
It's
ventriloquist.
like Jeff Dunham.
Exactly. Except I'm the dummy.
So what's going on with you guys? What's new with the podcast? I see you've got this thing. Was this here last
No,
time
it
when
was
I was
not.
here? I was
It was
gonna
not.
say because I feel like
That was a
like
Christmas
before you used to want people to see the guests, and now you're like, let's put this block here.
Nugget needs a booster seat so he can be seen.
Hey, you know what?
You can sit on top of it. It's strong enough to where you can sit on top of it.
I'm just light enough to where it wouldn't even make a dent.
Just prop yourself up.
I've lost so much. Have you guys been either getting fatter or just losing strength during this whole thing? Because
Fatter and losing strength.
Yeah, it's miserable.
I'm gonna pretend mine's because of COVID.
Yeah, mine is not. Mine COVID just happened to happen the same time that I got fatter and lost strength.
Man,
But it's not necessarily because of COVID.
I'm weaker than I've ever been in my entire life.
Me
I just
too.
feel like
Not in my entire life, but in a long time.
it's so depressing. And I went to Lifetime over there today because I was like, I'm not going to miss out on this opportunity. I was excited to see my friends here and all that, and excited. Don't get me wrong, the podcast is great,
Sure.
but Lifetime,
I understand.
Lifetime is that's what I needed. So I went over there and I did squats with the bar for the first time in maybe 6 months, and I was afraid. I was afraid that the weight was just going to crush me, and so I did 135, and I was like, I'm going to do 3 sets of 10 of this, just kind of get back into things, and I got to the 3rd set, and I did 6, and I was like, all right.
Now I know where I'm at.
It's not moving. Something's not right here. Somebody holding it down, and nobody was holding it down, and I was like, all right. And so I had to, because you're used to knowing what your strength is, and so you can just, you know how many times you can put it up there before you're
Yeah.
going to fail. I do the thing where I rested it on the bar, and I fell back, and had to lay on the ground, and everybody looked at me, and they were all laughing. They were like, look at that guy. Oh, it's like he wore a golf polo to the gym or something because he didn't know they needed to go to the gym. It's just embarrassing.
He kind of looks like that Nugget guy used to look, except for a weaker version.
And shorter. He's got shorter somehow.
And then some 12-year-old comes over and re-racks your weights for you.
Yeah. But it's been rough. So I'm excited to be able to work out for real again.
And Tuesday will be bad, and then Wednesday will be even worse for you. I'm sure. I'm sure that what is that called? The DOMS.
Yep. Delayed onset muscle soreness.
You got it. I was gonna say that, man. You spoiled that for me.
Yeah.
I was gonna show everybody how smart I was.
Yeah. We know you're smart. You're running a podcast about exercising. We know you know, and you're a doctor.
That's right. Yep.
And I'm a reverend.
Yeah.
And he's thirsty.
Are you really a reverend?
No.
I'm not even 100% sure how that came about. It's just one of those things.
I was gonna say I don't feel like you're a reverend.
No, I'm not. Anywhere close.
Did I ever tell you? I've married a couple before.
I think I remember you saying that.
Yeah, I married this couple in San Antonio. I worked for a radio station, and they called up. We were talking about something that related to it, and they called and they said that they've always wanted to get married, but they just don't have the money for the wedding that they want. But they met at Walmart, and so we were like, okay, well, what kind of standards are they expecting for this wedding? So we talked to them for a little while, and they were low maintenance. They wanted a venue, and they wanted a couple rings. They just didn't have enough money for a DJ or any of that. So I officiated the wedding. I got ordained, officiated it. DJ got done saying the I do's, and then I went over and DJ'd the wedding.
You're like hitting it. Like, as you're saying, I now pronounce you man and wife, you're like hitting the remote.
I'm like, Beyonce starts playing. And then we got them, we got a bar to donate the venue.
Oh, nice.
So they donated the venue where we married them. They catered the wedding too. And we got a jewelry store to donate 2 rings.
Cool.
Dang.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
This was from the radio station?
This is all on the air. We did it in 48 hours. So from the time they called in
You're kidding me.
to that weekend, we got it done.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. You know how the best part is how they met. It's the best, trashiest story in the world. I hope they don't follow me. So they met. The guy worked at Walmart, and the woman wanted to go in the gardening section, and it had just closed half an hour ago. And the guy who worked there was like, can I help you? Sorry, it was more like, can I help you? And she was like, well, I just wanted to get in the gardening section. And he was like, come on, I'll let you in. And he let her in the gardening section, and she was just taken back by that, and ended up, he asked her for her phone number, and she gave it to him, and they fell in love.
Really?
Yeah, at Walmart.
Man, everybody wants to get in the gardening section.
Yeah, man.
It's amazing what that will get you. And you made that happen. Of course they follow you. How could they not follow you when you put on their wedding?
No, I'm sure they lost track of me by now.
No.
Yeah.
That would be horrible.
They were old already. So
Yeah.
I don't think they had any social media really to speak of.
You think they're still married?
I'll feel really terrible if they watch this.
Did you
and
feel
they're like,
good?
Man.
A good vibe about their...
Yeah, they were in love. And they just didn't have the money to do a wedding the way they wanted to. But they were just the nicest people I've ever met. And there's something so wholesomely Southern about meeting at a Walmart and having that be the beginning of your love story. Because that's the story they told us to pique our interest and go, all right, well, let's find out how we can help them.
And then doubling down on that by getting some guy on the radio to DJ and officiate the wedding. That is an American love story.
Yeah. And I just,
Southern
it's so
American
endearing.
love story.
Yeah, it's great.
You asked what we've been up to. I'll tell you something we've been up to. I hate to even tell you because I'm so insecure about it. You got your name.
Is it your tattoo?
You're
Is it, I'm sorry. Is it not your tattoo? Okay.
So you got your name from Nugget comes from winning an eating contest.
Yes.
I challenged a guy to an eating contest and I got destroyed.
He got beat.
Yeah.
What was the food?
A pizza.
And okay, so how did you gauge who won? Was it just straight up who
Wait. I'm not telling you to wait. I'm saying like the weight of
Okay,
the
got
food.
it. Yep.
I'm not like, wait.
Wait.
Yeah, we turned it into a fundraiser.
Okay.
And so we had scales and donations. And
But we did it
people
also
came.
in true LHRL style where we got up, stupid early that morning. We went and ran.
Oh yeah, we did.
Had a
Some
big group
miles.
run.
That's right.
You ran
and
like 20
then
miles.
we all
or
met
something.
at the
Lot of
pizza
miles.
place, and it was a pizza place where they have one of these challenge pizzas where it's like a 48-inch pizza or something ridiculous, and if 2 people can eat it in an hour, then you get it for free.
Cool. So
Yeah.
so it was you and the person you were competing against, and you did it by whoever ate the most weight of pizza
In 1
The
hour.
most pounds?
Literally had a food scale there, and so every time we loaded their plate up, weighed it.
Okay.
kept track
and then you
of
had
it.
1 hour.
Right.
So do you remember
But
the?
it was over in 8 minutes. Like
Okay.
1 hour is way too long. That's not an endurance event.
Okay. What do you remember your numbers?
We were both over 3 pounds,
Okay.
but I don't know what the final.
But
number was.
it wasn't like he was 4 pounds, you were 3. It was both between 3 and 4.
We were both between 3 and 4. But once I got to a point, I hit a hard stop, so there was no need for him to continue on the throttle. So that's not. He probably could have
He was like, I can
continued.
eat more pizza, but I don't
He
need
could
to
have
because
continued
Wilson already
throttling
gave up.
me.
Got it.
But maybe it's because he's a nice guy and didn't want to do that. Because I talk trash. Like I was pretty sure of myself, and he is he's a slimmer guy. He's a former fat guy.
Yeah,
so
he's a runner, ultra runner, former fat guy. That's yeah. I'll tell you he handled it a little bit better than you did, but the mistake y'all made was the toppings. Like I think we discussed this. It was like you guys picked
Yeah.
meat instead of vegetables
Like
for the
onions.
topping.
Yeah.
So
Ton of
it was like it was pizza, and then it was heavy toppings on top of that.
Yeah.
Like they probably could have finished the pizza
If it wasn't
between
for
the two
those,
of
yeah.
them if it wasn't for the toppings that they
well, and to tell you, to give you an idea how much pizza there was, each extra topping was like I think $24.
Oh,
yeah,
Or maybe it was
an extra
17.
thing.
cost
It
of
was-
a pizza.
It was a
ridic-
lot.
It was the pizza,
It may have been $17.
the pizza was so big that to add one topping to the entire pizza was like $17.
Wow.
That's insane. So,
Yeah.
Okay, so were you just trying to speed through it? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I just thought I can eat a lot.
Yeah.
Typically I do really well in my own eating
It's
competition,
so
just
funny.
me against me.
It's so funny how that works. Do you feel like if it was one of your more, you know how you just have those days where you're starving?
If it was
Do you
a
feel
Sunday,
like it was one of those
just
days?
a rollover couch day,
You could have eaten
I
more.
could have eaten the whole pizza.
When there's
probably.
pressure, for some reason, it always makes it more difficult. to
And
eat a lot.
this is not an excuse because he had the same circumstances, but when I was driving there from the trail and it was hot, and I was like, this is a terrible time to go out and run as far as you can, and then go.
I said that before we did the run. I was like, me running for 4, 5, 6 hours makes me not want to eat. Like, I'm going to have to drink like a protein shake or something because I know my body needs nourishment, but there's no way that I could eat after, like, I could try and take down like a ginormous pizza after
I feel like I could wake up in the morning and beat
Next day-
and beat both of you.
Give me 4
You know
hours.
what I
Give me
mean?
4
Like-
hours, and I
Right.
probably could do it.
Optimal time.
Right.
I don't think I could have eaten more
timing's
than
important.
3 of those
Yeah.
slices.
You showing him pictures, Amanda?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I could have eaten
Oh my
as-
God,
that
that's
much.
big pizza.
Well, we both went out really hot, and then that.
They were
And
pretty good.
That's impressive.
I
you-
showed my cards because the beads of sweat started coming down.
You,
And
you
he
look
could see
depressed.
It was bad.
It's you know what? I used to be a big eating challenge. Let's do this. But then I realized it's so not enjoyable.
It was horrible.
And it makes you not enjoy food as much. And you don't want to be in that position. But you know what? The best thing to do after that is see if you can eat ice cream after. Because for some reason you always can. Isn't that crazy? You're
Well-
a doctor. Is there some sort of science?
I don't know. I think it's all just
Yeah.
mental. I don't think it's anything science. Just
Well, we brought home pizza, or I brought home
Yeah.
pizza, and 8 hours later, I was killing pizza, but it took a while to get there.
Interesting.
And Melissa was there, and she thought I was doing like the rope-a-dope. She thought I was faking it and
Oh,
was
yeah.
gonna do the James Brown, and throw the cape off and come back and start dancing again. And I'm like wiping the sweat off my brow. And I'm like,
No.
like I'm
And
out.
did you get sick?
I did not.
Okay. I thought you went to the bathroom and got sick at one point.
I went to the bathroom, but I didn't
You
get
thought
sick.
you were gonna. I think you thought you were gonna get sick.
I definitely thought I was going to get sick. But, I mean, we still had like 50 minutes left.
Right.
And to just sit there. It's like going to a fight and getting your ass kicked and then having a cocktail party afterwards.
Yeah.
It's
Wait for the clock to run out.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
so you just had to sit there?
Well,
Couldn't you guys just be like, all right, cool?
we pretty much did
Yeah.
that, I
Yeah,
think.
but
Yeah.
at this point we had probably 20 or 30 people there.
I mean,
and
there are
everybody else
people
is eating,
still getting
and
their
we're getting our
food.
food and stuff. So
Yeah, we're
it
just
wasn't
getting
just
served
like
in the background while they're.
Okay, so yeah, you
Yeah.
just had to hang out. That must have been
And
so
you got to be
uncomfortable.
cordial. There's manners. There's rules to these things.
Yeah.
How do you think
there's
that
a
guy-
decorum.
Who's the guy that wins all the hot dog eating competitions?
That Asian dude.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
not him. He's not the guy anymore.
He's not?
Joey Chestnut. is the-
Kobayashi or whatever his name is.
Kobayashi. I watched a documentary on him. He had a fall from grace.
Really?
And is Joey
he
Chestnut
cheating?
a country singer,
I
or
have
is that
no
the
idea. No idea.
Who's the guy on NME or whatever that's a professional eater?
What?
on like North Mississippi Endurance?
I think so. We know somebody.
Are you talking about me?
Because
'Cause
when we
I'm
were no, when we were talking about this, we know somebody because when we went into this competition, that guy had been there with his girlfriend the weekend before, and he took down one of those pizzas by himself.
On the North Mississippi Endurance
I
team.
think he's on NME, but if he's not on NME, he's part of like LHRL community or something.
I think you're thinking about me saying that I was a professional
No.
eater.
No, there's somebody we know, and I want to say it's somebody on the North Mississippi Endurance team that has won eating competitions and is like, and I'm telling you, like 2 weeks before we did the pizza thing with you and
Gavin.
Gavin, thank you. He had been there with his girlfriend and took down the entire pizza by himself.
That's impressive.
Wow.
the entire pizza by himself.
Wow.
He ordered like green peppers and onions.
It was just cheese.
and
though.
he took down the entire pizza by himself.
I remember somebody saying, "What kind of pizza was it?" And Gavin said, "Red onion." I mean, it was probably like 4 onions on that pizza. It
But
was
you guys
so
ordered
much.
extra toppings, didn't you?
Yeah, because I like
Pepperoni, sausage,
bacon.
bacon.
Oh, were you eating it for? Were you adding toppings that you enjoy for
Yeah,
fun?
yeah,
You
yeah.
weren't thinking about it. Like you weren't
yeah.
doing the calculus.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the calculus.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the pizza
My
itself.
strategy was bad. I went into it, I
You're
didn't
too
go
laid back.
I didn't go in there with any humility.
Yeah.
I went in there thinking that, I had it going on. And I was sorely mistaken.
Katie says Taylor and Colin have a friend that does eating competitions. Is that who you're talking about?
I don't think so.
What are people saying on Facebook?
I feel like
somebody said there needs to be a rematch between
No
you and
Way.
then that's about it.
Well, if we
I'll never do one of those again.
If we take, you wouldn't.
No.
Okay, fair enough. I'll shut up.
I say I'm not going to do stuff, and I do stuff all the time. That's something that I'm not doing again. I mean, it was just too much.
You did not enjoy that day.
No,
I
I
know
didn't.
you did not enjoy that day.
I didn't.
But I am surprised that you are adamant about not doing it again.
Let's do one right now.
No way.
I'll order some chicken nuggets.
I'm going to stop at Mickey D's on the way here. Oh, let me tell you about an eating competition that he didn't mind taking part in, and that was our 24-hour race where I dropped off. What did I drop off? Like 30 McDonald's hamburgers and French fries.
Yeah, it
I
was great.
swear to God,
It was-
when the next ultra I run,
24-hour race in Germantown, running 1 mile loops, and you start and stop whenever you want to. You just keep running, take a break whenever you want to, whatever. And it's a race most of us do every year.
It was my birthday.
And it was on his birthday this past year. And I don't know if you asked for McDonald's or if you joked about it.
I
but-
joked about it. I thought you were being sarcastic. You're like, I'll bring you. I'll bring
And
you
so
some
I went to McDonald's, and to be funny, so I went to McDonald's and I was like, I want 25 cheeseburgers, I want like 5 large fries, and a Diet Coke.
That's good.
And then he was like, I got 23 cheeseburgers over there.
and they were perfect.
I
It
brought
was
you
the best-
25, but I
it was
ate
the
2 of
best thing I've ever eaten while running.
And they were
You ate
good
it
all
while
night
you were
long.
running?
Yeah.
Isn't that bad for you? Don't you guys do that? Aren't you supposed to be like putting out good information to the people?
That is
listening?
the best
That sounds like a
information.
terrible.
That's what you
That's
want.
such terrible advice.
that
Yeah,
was the
kids, eat the
nutrients.
cheeseburger. We have a child here who's watching.
Keep
Who's going to
going.
learn this. She's going to be
Well,
running,
if
eating
she goes and
cheeseburgers.
runs
Keep
20
going.
miles, Eat some cheeseburgers.
Eat some
If you
cheeseburgers.
run 20 miles,
No, during.
if you run 20 miles,
It's
you
fuel.
can afford to eat the
Yeah,
cheeseburger.
you can eat
Is
while
it
you run.
really fuel? You're
Yeah.
you're a doctor.
You gotta have.
How dare
You
you?
gotta continue fueling your body. I mean,
have
I'm
to
not
have the
such like a
calories.
cheeseburger, but I mean, if you
There
eat,
are
like,
there might
healthier
be
items.
healthier
I'm
options,
telling you, but those McDonald's cheeseburgers are easy to put down when
Wait,
you're
like
running.
what do you mean while you're running? Like, are
you
you
just
stopping,
grab
or
by it?
is
Yeah.
there somebody handing
you
it
stop,
to you
You stop and hang out.
Or you just grab one and
You
take
can
it
grab
with
one
you.
and take it with you.
while you're running? Like
You might-
running,
and
let's
eating.
keep,
a
let's keep in
cheeseburger.
mind, we're
so-
not breaking any land speed records here.
Listen,
And
Like,
also,
we're not trying to
dude,
put out there.
I want to put this out there that Camille Herron eats Taco Bell tacos and drinks beer.
Right.
And she's
Yeah.
got the
She
world
drinks-
record of the 100-mile
She drinks
race.
a road dead guy on a record-breaking 100-mile run. She stopped and drank half a beer 4 different times,
And she's sponsored by Taco Bell.
and she's sponsored
we
by
just-
Taco
I just
Bell.
want
Is she
a
legit
little-
sponsored by Taco Bell?
I just
I'm
want a
pretty
little
sure they send her
clarification.
tacos. Yeah.
Man,
Can you clarify? Are these people eating them?
like mid-stride?
Yes.
No. Okay,
That's what it sounds
It
like.
depends on the runner.
So
because
it depends on the person.
Some
but
people
let-
like
let-
Wilson will spend like an hour at the aid station
The
eating stuff.
people in this room, if we say we're eating while running,
Yeah.
that probably means we're stopping for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes to eat.
Okay.
And taking a break, or we're walking a 1 mile lap and eating it while walking. We're not doing a 7-minute mile.
Okay.
And
Well, not a
ingesting.
7-minute mile.
And it's the same
I
thing
mean-
as saying we ran a 24-hour race.
Yeah.
Well, when I say I ran a 24-hour race, it means that I ran a few miles, I walked a lot, I sat down, I ate cheeseburgers, I got 6 hours of sleep, and it's
Just
not
change the
like-
name of the podcast to lift moderate, run a decent amount of time.
That's fine.
But no,
I mean,
here's
it's not
the
like
thing.
it's not like you're uncovering
Okay.
some conspiracy. Everybody who's in Lift
is
Heavy
not-
Run Long is down for the same
Everybody
kind
that
of
runs
stuff.
ultras is the same way. Like,
You're
listen,
the only one that's figuring this stuff out.
Is that what it is?
I've ran a 10-minute mile 20 miles into a 50-mile race with brownies in one hand and a cup of chicken noodle soup in
You
the
guys
other.
are geniuses because
So,
you have figured it
yeah.
out. You figured out how to have this collective of people who don't actually
Correct.
do these things as hardcore, and so everybody can feel comfortable because they're like, well, the guys running the podcast about this are eating cheeseburgers, so I can sit there and have an ice cream cone at the treadmill at Planet
We're not the
Fitness.
strongest guys at the
Yeah.
event. We're not the fastest guys at the event. We
Yeah.
don't run the longest at anybody. But
Right.
if you put all those things together as far as enjoying our lives and running long and lifting heavy,
Yeah.
that's this group.
What a great representation of the lift
I can
heavy.
run 100 miles and deadlift 400 pounds.
Can you really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! In that or no? Can you wear?
I wear this shirt.
Can you wear the polo?
Under Armour in my
The
flip-flops.
polo might get him to 405.
450.
Just super strength as soon as you put on the.
I knew I should have changed
I thought I
it.
was going golfing. You absolutely. I can't help it. You guys are just so much fun. And last time I feel like I just didn't talk enough trash, and you guys have clearly gone out of your way to provide all these things to make fun of. So I don't want to let it all go.
It's such easy fodder.
You know?
Yeah, I hate that everybody
That's why
missed
we're here.
before we started recording. Nuggets wearing his LHRL shirt, and I was like, "So did you have to dig that out?" And he's like, "No, I wear this all the time." And that just led into trash talk.
I read this Cosmopolitan article that said, so I kept this shirt, it made it through Dubai, made the trip back home. It fits really well. You guys that's amazing that you give a t-shirt to your guests. Do you realize how cool that is? You don't have to do that. And
That's
so-
interesting to hear
yeah.
you say from the guest
Yeah.
point of view that
Yeah.
would be something, because it's just a shirt that we give away.
But you put thought into it. You were like,
Yeah.
I want this to fit well, clearly. Because you didn't get, a lot of people get the, there's this brand called like Gildan or Glidden or something.
Gildan.
Yeah.
Gildan.
Yeah.
Terrible.
And they're terrible.
It
It's
is
like
terrible.
the worst shirts that have ever been made.
Those are Canvas Tri-Blend.
Yeah, sorry if they're a
Tri-Blend is-
sponsor, but
No.
they're so awful. And these fit awesome. So that's the first thing. It's really hard for me to find shirts that fit me tight enough to make it look like I have muscles. So there's that. And then it's red, and I read in Cosmopolitan magazine that the ladies like you more if you wear red. And so I was but you got red hair, but
Right.
that doesn't count at all. That works like in the opposite.
But that's not where you went with it. You said, well, that probably worked for you when you had hair or something along those
No,
lines.
I didn't. You volunteered the information I said you got rid of it.
Right.
I didn't. That's not an implication that you lost it. That's an implication that you did it on purpose. You're the one that started in your head going, well, I'm bald.
That's true.
Wilson,
That's very, very
did you
true.
not give Steve Wilk a shirt? He goes, I didn't get a T-shirt when I came on.
Of course he did. He's lying. Wilk is totally lying. I'm sure I've sent him one for free anyway. No, Steve.
He brought us shirts.
Yeah. If I have not given Steve Wilk a shirt, I'll mail him
think
as
you-
many as he
In
wants.
fact, had I
tomorrow.
not been wearing this awesome shirt, I would have been wearing the T-shirt he gave me when he came on the podcast.
I would
Because I had
feel-
that on before I changed into this awesome shirt.
I would feel horrible if I hadn't given Steve Wilk a shirt. As a matter of fact, I would let you beat me with the Lift Heavy Run Long clogs that he sent us from Sweden.
There they are.
Holland.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they're like branded. Lift Heavy Run Long.
Can we talk about balding for a second?
Yes.
Because I want to. You're a woman. I've heard that bald guys are they seem more manly and more attractive. Do you guys think that's true?
There's a set of ladies that think that.
There's like
yes.
some masculinity involved in like a balding guy because it's not like there's a ton of women that are running around bald, right? There's some, and the ones that can pull it off look awesome. But
Yeah.
it's typically a dude thing to be bald, and so I feel like it's associated with masculinity a lot of times. You're not only a woman, but a doctor. I feel like you
Bald
should weigh
and
in.
facial hair.
The
I think it's
little
just
bit of
depends
feedback
on-
I've gotten on it is more, it's like,
preference, really.
it's like, well, it's more like experienced or aged or, I'm not sure what the word is I'm trying to come up with. It's,
Bruce Willis.
It feels masculine from where I'm
Bruce
sitting.
Willis and The Rock and all them have kind of brought baldness and
Vin
more
Diesel.
of a tougher, type
Yeah.
of.
It's like if I'm
I don't
bald,
mind that
I'm
you
a
excluded me
fag.
from that group.
And Brian.
No, Brian, you got look.
Well,
If
he
you
eats cheeseburgers and runs.
can you imagine if he had hair? If he had like right now, if you were to tell me like, hey man, when you get outside, we're gonna fight, I would be nervous for sure.
But if he had a full
if he
head
had
of hair,
if he
you'd
had
be
a
like-
full head of red hair,
All right, let's go, man.
I would be
All right,
fine.
Opie, let's go.
let's go, Ginger. Ginger, dude.
Come on, Carrot Top.
full head of red.
Can you imagine? Like I would just be like, this isn't intimidating at all, but that's intimidating.
I don't believe you, but
Yeah.
okay.
Well, no, I think you should be a little bit more pumped about it because it looks.
Oh,
nice.
I love the fact that I get out of the shower and I'm done. You know, I don't have to put any
That's
work
true.
He's
into
pumped
this,
about
you
it. He wants to make it clear he's pumped.
Yeah.
About having his head shaved.
Yeah.
know. Given the options I have, this is the best one. So.
Yeah, I want to take some time to compliment all you guys because I spent the first half of the podcast just being mean. I really like you have the tattoo where it's like, isn't it like this entire side of your body kind of?
No.
Don't you have your arm done?
I could pull that. I could make you think that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have my arm done and then I have my leg done, but nothing else in the middle.
Okay. Do you have you ever considered that?
No.
No.
I'm done
He's
after
gonna be
this
like
thing.
he's gonna be like the girl with the dragon tattoo that like is.
What made you after you got that done? Was that kind of like your project piece where you were like, I'm going to get this done and then that'll be it?
No, not really. I actually had someone else who's working on one of my brother's friends who's working on a project piece, but I don't know that I have it in me to set up all those appointments and go get drilled on anymore.
Is that painful to you? I mean, do you?
It never was until it was.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden it was like, I don't want to go back and finish this thing. When he was drilling on my knee and I was like, okay, there's a side of me that sort of enjoys that and I enjoy the process. And then all of a sudden it was like, this is sucking really, really bad.
Right.
And then before the next appointment, I was like, man, I
don't
don't want to
back,
go.
yeah.
I don't want, but I can't just stop now.
Yeah, you got to keep it,
And
finish it.
And maybe that'll change. But once it was over, I was like,
It's funny.
that was good.
All of mine hurt up until this last one, and not that it didn't hurt, but my tolerance level, I'll say, just went way up. Like,
and it probably makes a difference where the tattoo's located.
It totally
yeah, and
does.
this is
Yeah.
all my other ones are on my leg, and I got one on my chest, and I mean there were definitely some painful parts where it got like down near the armpit or
Yeah.
down near the nipple. That
Yeah.
like holy crap, that hurt. But in general, it was a lot more tolerable.
I got one on my back. It took 6 hours. Did it all in one session.
Oh, no.
God.
Yeah, and I by the end I was like, I was delusional. I was yelling at the tattoo artist because I was confident that they were just going over the same spot over and over again. I was like, hey, man.
It does start to feel like
I'm like, you already got that part. And he was like, it's not. It's a different part. And I'm like, sure it is. And I was getting so upset with him, and I was swearing at him. Then it was finally done. And I was like, you know what? One is good. And now it's made me not want to get even a small one anywhere else. But I also feel like that's kind of having one is like, if somebody sees it, they're like, what's your tattoo? You've only got one. But then if you have, that's why it's either like one or a sleeve. Because then it's like, what's your tattoo? Or if you have a ton of them everywhere, then it's kind of like, nah, I don't really care that much to know about all your, because if you ask about one now, you got to ask about all of them. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't just care about the one tattoo. And so it doesn't stand out as much, I guess. That's why
I wouldn't think you would. People do. I wouldn't ask about someone's tattoo.
No?
No,
Why not?
because it's their tattoo.
Right, but they got it because they want, like, why do you have tattoos that
'Cause
people can see?
Because I just wanted tattoos.
Okay. There was no deeper reasoning at all?
Yeah, there's reasons to them, but not that I would. If somebody was like, "Tell me about your tattoo. Tell me about this part of your tattoo. Tell me about that part of your tattoo," and I just didn't know them, that would be a lot to go into.
Oh.
Because
is it because your tattoos are personal to you? And there's like kind of a story?
It sounds really stupid to say that they're personal to me, but I wear them outside my body. Wear them on my body.
I don't think that sounds stupid.
They're definitely personal to me. I mean, there's definitely a story behind them and what the meaning is to me. And I wouldn't get like defensive, like, oh, I can't. No, you can't. I can't tell you about my tattoo.
But it's not your. I would imagine it's like if there's a story to it, even just from the perspective of, oh, great, I got to tell this story again. I feel like that would be kind of annoying if there's a whole thing. Mine's just a speaker with music notes coming out of it, so people are like, oh, what song is that? And I tell them it's Fergalicious, and then the conversation's over.
No, there's definitely too much involved in what I was going for to go into. Just a random stranger with it.
Right, I get it. Have you ever talked about it on the show?
No.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Can I just make up what I think it would be?
Sure, yeah.
Sure. It seems like you went to prison, and then the guy who was doing your tattoo in prison, all he had to work from was a children's book about doves. And so he did that, and it was about doves escaping from a volcano. Boom.
Yeah, and like Amanda said, there's ribeyes.
Ah!
They got steaks.
Yep. They had steaks in prison.
A ribeye volcano. So you can use that now whenever people ask you about your ink.
Ribeye
and you can just say, what happened was this guy in prison had a coloring book about a dove flying out of a ribeye volcano. I really enjoyed it. He put it on my leg. Boom.
Is that not obvious?
Conversation
can't you tell
over.
from my tattoo?
Were you
Get annoyed
it's a
with
ribeye
them.
volcano?
Were you the first person to have a lift heavy run long tattoo?
Maybe, to my knowledge.
I think you are. I only know of two of you.
I called that shot very early in the game, and I said I'm gonna.
You basically have like and it's not an homage to Barbell Buddha, but you've got a Buddha that's lift heavy run long, right?
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
Is it what? So do you have the logo, like the lift heavy run long logo?
No.
It's just like
it's just got two tags on either end of a barbell hanging
but
off.
There is a person who got the lift heavy run long logo on there.
Are they not part of the show? That's amazing.
No.
Yeah.
That's so great. That's a
but
real
it's part
fan.
of the community.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I always, you know what? It's easy to forget that it's not just, and I should remember this because I always see the posts of like, hey, everybody check in. And it's like a conversation that you keep going with all the members of the community all the time. Yeah, it's cool.
Well, I think that's what I'd like to believe that's what makes it unique is that it doesn't belong to us or anybody else.
Yeah.
It's just a group of people that kind of like to do the things. Like some of them like to lift and some of them like to run. Some of them like to just, watch and not do any of it.
Yeah.
And like you were saying earlier, we're not a community of elite athletes. We're not going in search of
Obviously. Yeah.
So there you go.
No, I love it. I think it's just, I think it's cool. And I think that it's hard to find like a unique lane in podcasting or just any sort of broadcasting. And you guys have done that. So it's really cool.
The thing I love the most is to hear how often people listen to the show either live or days or weeks later, and they're like, I'm talking to you guys while you guys are talking. Like, it sounds like my friends are sitting in a room and having a conversation, and I'm trying to respond back, but you guys can't hear me.
That's my favorite
Right.
part.
And that's what I love. It's like they think that they're just sitting in a living room with us and listening to us have a conversation.
If only they knew how creepy this cabin was.
if only.
They saw the woods that you had to drive through. And
It's not that bad during the day.
It's much
not bad
different.
at all.
Yeah.
At night,
did you come here in the
driving
winter
weird,
last
yeah.
time and like had to show up after dark?
guys, I showed up and I thought for sure that was gonna be my last day on the earth.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna go in
A lot of
here.
people say that.
These dudes are twice my size. They could easily take me. I started like YouTubing jujitsu, like the wrist thing, because I was like, okay, I just gotta get somebody's wrist.
How can I take
Started
this guy
planning
down?
things out, and then I came in here and it was fine. So
My
it's,
favorite is these two girls Wilson and I had come in from some magazine or something I can't even remember, or some I don't remember what company they were with, but they were young.
I think they were a
girls.
nutrition food place.
Yeah, maybe so. But they stood right there in the doorway.
They must have been
and,
terrified.
like, you should see the look on
They
their
thought
face.
we
like,
were a gym. So they
Oh,
were
no.
coming to Lift Heavy Run Long Gym, and we've got these cameras set up and lights, and we're like, come on in.
and this looks identical to the casting couch.
These are
You guys didn't even bother trying to hide this at all.
and we like tried to get them like to come in, and they were just like,
and when me and Vaughn are both thinking like, we don't blame you,
Yeah.
like at all.
no, it's totally.
Did they?
fine.
They probably relaxed once that you sat down.
I think they were bringing something to drop off. I don't think they
It was
were,
something to drop
Yeah.
off.
They weren't going to do a podcast, and they were like,
No,
"We're
no.
just going to leave this stuff here and get out of here as fast as we can."
Yeah, it was awkward. It was awkward.
It's so funny. Have you ever been in a position where? There's ever like a dude or a group of dudes that are so just jacked and huge, like just 2 or 3 times your size, where you immediately go into fight or flight mode, and you're like, you start playing back scenarios of like, okay, I might have to. What if I have to fight these guys? I don't know what I'm gonna do. Does that happen to you where you get terrified?
Every room I don't necessarily get terrified, but every room I walk into,
That must be a guy thing.
I survey it.
No, especially, I mean, I would imagine as a woman, like if you're in any sort of area where there's like, just not a lot of people,
An
and there's like
uncertain
these
area.
gigantic guys that are around you, and there's no like any sort of protection anywhere, I feel like that would be terrifying.
Well, there's no, there would be no fight or flight. It'd be flight. It's like, how
Yeah.
do I get out of here? What's the best route? You know,
Right.
if those two dudes like walk
I
over
think
to
that's
me.
like, I'm the guy that when I go into a restaurant with a group of people, like I want to have the seat that's got the back like to the wall where I can
Like
watch
the
the room.
mafia?
Yeah, like I have to be able to see the room.
That's
Like
hysterical.
I'm not comfortable, but that's just I don't know why it's not like anybody jumped me when I was a kid. I didn't grow up in like Southside Chicago or
It's
something
just
like
that mafia mentality, man. You must have some sort of. I have to sleep.
It's the red hair.
I have to sleep facing the door.
It's that Irish blood.
He's
Yeah.
part of the Irish mafia.
It's so funny because that wouldn't protect you from anything, really.
Right.
Like you would just get you
Well,
would
you
just
just be
get
the
beat
first-
up facing them.
You'd be the first one to see the ass whooping that's coming. That's right. That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Well, Amanda will tell you I have to have covers on me at all times when I'm sleeping, because if someone is going to stab me, they can't do that through my covers as easily as they can. If I just have my covers off, they can
Because
stab me
someone's
to
going to
death.
come in your house and stab you.
You don't think they could stab you as easily through the thin layer of satin?
I'm not saying it makes sense. I'm saying it's
okay.
the way that it is.
So when he kicks the sheets off, I'll take a picture and text it to him. So when he wakes up, I'm like, you could.
Has anyone ever had someone break into their house while they're sleeping?
And stab me?
Or,
Because
like,
because I
I
put covers
I wonder,
on.
like, I feel like people
It's
that,
because they walked into his room and they couldn't figure out exactly where his body was, and they knew they only got one shot to stab him, and if they missed, then he'd wake up and he'd kick their ass.
And
But
not
he
to
also
mention,
puts me next to the doorway, so they would hit me first. And
not to mention that I also have the strategy that whenever I get scared, I'll just hold my breath, and that way they'll think that somebody has already come by and killed me.
oh, he's dead already.
Is that the weirdest thing about living with him, or is there weirder
There's
stuff?
some pretty weird
It
stuff.
goes on and on, dude. It goes on and on.
To be in his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have so many oddities. I don't even know We don't. There's no.
That
sense
could be
in
a
even starting.
podcast by itself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a fun. Just to ask you a bunch of questions and wait for the weird to come out.
I'm very open about it.
I think we're all like that to agree.
I'll share with you just about every weird.
I was gonna
thing
say
about me.
I think we all have those idiosyncrasies, but he's just more willing to be open about them and share his.
That's the way to be, man. But you know what? The balance to that is you got this very calming voice. So no matter how weird I feel like you get, it's probably hard to detect because you've got this voice that's like everything's gonna be fine.
Do I?
Yeah.
Just-
you
I
guys
didn't know that.
do you think
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I totally
Nugget,
agree with
just
that.
drink the Kool-Aid.
I
It'll
didn't
be
know that.
fine.
No, he's got this raspy. He's got this this kind of rasp going on, like a almost. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You
I
married
know what
him.
you're talking about.
You know.
But
She fell for it.
But it's
He
also
obviously talked me into
Yeah.
it, so no, yeah, I understand.
Like
I
it's
mean,
it's
he
very calming. Like you could do lullabies on audiobook for sure.
Well, I mean, he's really known for being out on the trails and somebody's going to quit, and he'll talk them into finishing out the race. And then
yeah.
just come with me.
That's what it is.
Talk
It's a
them.
motivational voice.
But also, it's like you could 100% of the time that I've ever told him something I'm pissed off or frustrated about, he's like, "This is no big deal," and you're like,
You're
"Oh
right.
yeah, you're right.
It's
okay,
not- it's not
I
a
guess
big
you're
deal."
right." He's like, "It could be worse. It could be blah blah blah," and you're like, "Oh."
I would love to hear the hypothetical situations that you come up with for what it could be worse.
Well, see, the thing is, I mean, with the life he's lived, like he can pretty much top any horrible story that any of us have.
I've had some bad days.
Yeah, and I'm like, so and so said something really nasty to me and pissed me off, and he's like, "Oh well, you could be dead, or whatever. You
But
could have
also
no money.
in my own life, I'll freak out. So I'm not. I'm
Really?
much more calm when it comes to other people's problems, and I'm much more calm the more chaotic the situation is. I'm able to find
Right? Yeah, you find calm and chaos. Sorry.
find the calmness in calamity. But when there's calmness, then I'll just create this calamity out of nothing. So I
Do
don't
you
know.
find yourself? Do you do that thing where you'll either have an argument or anticipate some sort of conflict, and so you'll replay a million scenarios in your head of either how it could?
no
Is that
idea.
is that
if
is
my
that a
if
deal?
my, if my steering wheel could talk, I mean, and I wish I would have said this, and next time I'm going to say that, and let's start it from the beginning.
Isn't that
let's
torture?
Do it again and again and again and again, and each time it changes, and each time I get better at it, and the better I get at that argument that I was going to have, the more I wish that I was, could go and recreate it.
Yeah.
and it just goes on and on.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to work, like I have to consciously work to avoid being that guy.
Yeah, it's tough, and it'll ruin your day for no reason.
It'll ruin your life.
Yeah. I used to really have a hard time with that, and then I did right before I came back here. I did a silent meditation retreat, and now that is completely gone.
Yeah.
it's so interesting how you just notice your thoughts because you just argue with yourself all day without even realizing it.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
How long was your silent meditation retreat?
7 days. It was supposed to be 10, but then it got cut because of Corona. And so I did 7 days, and the first 4 days were probably the most miserable. Maybe 3.5 days was just the worst 3.5 days of my life.
And is this what I'm imagining? Just like no talking for 4 days straight.
You do-
Nobody's talking to you at all.
You wake up, my alarm was set for 5:30, and then you get and meet up with everybody at 6:15, 6:30. 2 hours of meditation. Then you do like a tea break, 2 more hours. Breakfast, 2 more hours. Tea again, then 2 more hours. Then you meet with a mentor, and that's the only time you talk all day. You talk to them and just tell them about how it went. And then you just keep doing it, and then go back to meditation 2 hours at a time with a short break until 9 p.m. So I was actually getting less sleep than my normal life, which was crazy to think about. I was just like, why are you guys making me work overtime for meditation? This is supposed to be relaxing. And 3.5 days in is when it stopped being excruciating and started, I wasn't bored anymore.
Finally clicked.
Yeah, I wasn't bored. It felt
Did
like...
people cheat?
Wow.
No, it's hard to cheat, and also you're kind of paying for it, and so for you to cheat would be, you do out of boredom. You start like looking around, and you start the first 3 days. You're just like, what's that guy doing over there? That guy's probably not even doing anything, but you're the guy that's not doing anything.
My name's Nugget.
Yep. Yeah. That's how I introduced myself on the silent meditation retreat. But yeah, it's just a weird experience. It's people compare it to like there's different hallucinogen type stuff that you can do that people compare that experience to it. Because I hallucinated a little bit, and then I also just felt like I could have gone for a walk for 7 hours and been really entertained by that. So it was kind of cool, and it helped me with the arguing with myself.
Yeah.
So
has it had lasting effect? I mean, has it?
yeah, because I
continued on?
keep doing it every day for 15 or 20 minutes, and so I don't know if it would go away. You remember the movie Office Space?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember? And so what happens in the
He
movie
wakes
is
up-
he gets hypnotized,
Right.
and the guy who's hypnotizing him to be calm and carefree dies halfway through the hypnotism, so he never snaps out of it. That's what it reminds me of a little bit.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like that, but then I just keep it going, and that helps with the whole argument in your heads thing.
Very cool.
Yeah,
We're over the time limit.
I figured. I was like, I got to stop talking.
Tell us about your podcast right quick. And
Oh, that's
where we're
right.
going to find it.
So it's going to start next week. It's going to start on Monday, the 20-something probably. I don't know what date it is, but it's going to start next week. And it is just going to be
20th.
stuff like this. It's just going to be my life and whatever relevant news stories. I'm going to, unfortunately for the world, probably get a little bit political. Not anything specific, but just the general ideas. Like I'm going to talk about masks and things like that. Real divisive stuff, wearing masks. And it's going to be a daily one. And the first 15 or 20 minutes or so is going to be free. And then you pay for a subscription if you want to hear the rest. I'm going to do something diabolical where I cut the conversation like right when it's getting good. I'm going to be like,
Nice. Yeah.
it's going to be like, so that's when I was skydiving and I fell into a volcano. Hey, would you like to hear the rest of this? Then
Yeah.
subscribe. It's all going to be on getyourlifetogetherpodcast.com.
Okay. So picking up where you left
You
off.
are
Yep.
picking them, yeah.
Yeah, so getyourlifetogetherpodcast.com has everything about it. I put up an old episode from before I moved to Dubai so that you can kind of get an idea of what it's going to be like. And I'm just pumped that I could do this one before I start my own back up. This is cool.
We'd love to have you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Always a good time.
Sure.
Stay in touch.
Yeah, for sure.
Lift Heavy Run Long, number 189, I think, is in the books.
We'll go with that.